Hey everybody, it's TR, and I just gotta show you this Ibanez GIO GRG that I picked up for under $200 and tell you how amazing it is for the money. Stay tuned. So okay, this is a Ibanez GIO. Their lower end would be like their square version for Fender. Made in China, particularly this instrument. Differences between this and a regular RG type Ibanez guitar. Any of the Ibanez RGs I have a slant headstock. This headstock's like a Fender, doesn't slant. Curves, comes back up. The string retainers, which by the way, full disclosure, those string retainers are the only thing I've changed on this. It's a pair of barrel string trees that I just happen to have on hand. They came from Warmoth. I like them, they're nice, and they were in my parts bin, so I threw them on here. Other than that, this is pure stock. Okay, so this thing wasn't perfect out of the box, but it is a good guitar, and I'm going to tell you the good and the bad. Pickups don't sound bad at all. Although the word out now on YouTube, if you're not paying much attention, is according to Glenn Fricker, it's the speaker that matters. I tend to kind of agree with him. Okay, anybody that's going to say, oh, you should play this clean so you can hear it, doesn't matter. If you watch Jim Lill's video, it could be thin air. You're going to hear the pickup under the string. You're not going to hear anything with the guitar. So what's the point of playing it clean so you can hear what it sounds like? It's going to sound like anything else would with this pickup. That said, they sound all right. Electronics, dime-sized pots, which at first I thought were going to be an issue and I might want to replace them. However, this is a humbucker, single humbucker guitar with auto splitting in the middle. These humbuckers have 4 wires plus a ground wire. There's a lot of wires stuffed in there. I looked down in the dime-sized pots. We were kind of not having a lot of extra room, so I put regular-sized pots in. I probably would have had to get in there and Dremel it. Long story short, would have had to gut it. Why did I not care for them? They work fine, except they turned hard. They felt scratchy. They're not scratchy. Pulled the knob off, put it back on. The knob was crammed down so far it was rubbing against the body of the guitar. So once I put the knob on to a point where it's got a little bit of clearance, very smooth. Tone works too, I'll show you that. Same thing, smooth it up when I lift it up a little. Switch is a box switch, but it works smooth, it's quiet. I think it sounds all right. So what you get with this, it would be like the Steve Vai auto split. Okay, position 5 here, you have humbucker in the neck, but if you go to position 4, you'll get 1 coil from the neck with the middle. Position 3, the middle. Position 2, 1 coil from the bridge in the middle. And then position 1, just a good old full-blown humbucker. All good so far, right? This pretty veneer. Looked a little nicer the picture online. It looked more of a blue purple than a red purple. It's kind of a wine reddish purple in actuality to me. One of the picture was more of a purple that was towards the blue direction. It's still cool. Okay. Couple of afterthoughts here just because the red light makes me stupid. Yeah, no, that's not the guitar. Fingerboard. It's Jitoba. That's like a rosewood substitute that Ibanez likes to use. It's got a little more of a red hue than rosewood does, but it's nice. It's kind of a lot like Peo Ferro. It's got like a softness to it. I don't mean soft in a bad way, but like rosewood. And the other thing I want to show you is this jack. This is something new. You know, you get the little nut that spins and comes off and you lose it and the wires break and all that. This is all one piece. Jury will be out on that. We'll see how well that holds up, but you know, hey, if it ends up not working out, I'll just replace it with a traditional one. I don't care. But I think that's a great idea, especially in an entry-level guitar, because that's a thing that will end up happening with a new player. That nut will get loose, the wires will break, and all of a sudden, boo-hoo, my guitar doesn't work. What wasn't good on it? Sharp fret ends. How do they save money on these guitars? Is it because labor's so cheap? Well, it might be cheaper, but it's not so cheap. But time is money. So the faster they can crank these things out, the more affordable they are. So there's not a lot of finishing touches on them. From the aspect of fret buzz and string action, these frets are wonderful. They're jumbo. They actually were polished nice. I polished them a little more, but they were polished pretty nice. And they're jumbo, and the string action is super low, and there are no buzzes. The sides, they just nipped them off and called it a day. There was no dressing, there was no filing. So that's what I did. And I would refer you to, I will find, if I can, and put a link to it in. Phil McKnight's got an excellent video on how you can just use household things to do this. I have tools that are made for it. I have tools that I've adapted to do it with various guitars, but I think anybody can do it. And once you get those fret edges smoothed off, it feels like $1,000,000. The shape of the neck, not shaped like a Ibanez RG you would expect. You expect like a wizard neck. No, this feels like a Strat neck. Headstock shaped like a Strat headstock, the way it swoops up, even though the outline's Ibanez. And the neck profile, it feels very Strat. Tuners, not bad, not bad. You get in this price range, tuners can be pretty iffy. They felt a little bit unsteady at first, I won't lie. Some of them felt a little loose, some turned a little hard, and what the issue is, a little screw on the end of these knobs. They're not consistently tightened. There's little nylon bushings between the knob and the body of the tuner. And there's a screw that holds the knob on, and there's a tension on that bushing. You get the tension consistent, and where it needs to be, they will turn smooth. What I do is I put a screwdriver on them, loosen them up, then start tightening them, just holding the screwdriver until I see the knob itself actually turn, which would be loosening the string, by the way, so it's got a little help from the string. But as soon as the screwdriver turns the knob, I find that is a real good tension to have on them, and then they feel good. They're not loose, they don't wiggle, but they turn smooth. That said, also these little nuts that hold them on here, half of those were loose, and the little screws in the back that hold them in, most of those were not screwed in all the way. So once I tightened nuts on the front, tighten the screws on the back, did the treatment on the end of these knobs, these tuners work perfectly fine. They're smooth, they hold tune. It comes with a bar for the trim, which, by the way, the trim block is thin pot metal zinc. I don't use standard trims to begin with. I want to use a trim. I will grab a guitar with a Floyd. The only non-Floyd trims I use, I have a PRS that has its own proprietary trim system. And I have behind me here Ernie Ball, Sterling, Petrucci, and those are both like $750 guitars. So those trims, even though they're not Floyd's, you know, they work. This, I wouldn't expect it to be great. I didn't try it. I've seen some reviews of people using these online, using the heck out of the trim, and it wasn't bad, but I don't recommend. I'm sure the nut is, I'm sure it's like a cheap plastic, but boy, I don't know. That looks like graphite. It doesn't say in the specs, I don't think. I'll look and see and let you know down below. It works. That's all I care. So I'm saying grab it. I'm saying it's worth doing the little bit of work that you need to make the sides of this fingerboard smooth, because once you do that, and maybe a little setup, you know, get the string action to where it needs to be, adjust the truss rod, all things you can learn to do from online. And it's all out there, and it's not like it's rocket science. Anybody can do it. And for $200, I've got a player. I didn't need another guitar. It was more of a curiosity, but I really enjoy playing this thing. There again, if you want to hear it clean, as I said, wood doesn't matter, not a lot matters, speaker matters. Here's your bridge, 2-position, Stratty sound. Middle position. Then the 4. And then the neck. So I recommend it. Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up.